Okay, now we're going to move on to the breathing systems, the vaporizer and the ventilator. What we need to do is check the breathing system to begin with, both visually and inspect to make sure that it is appropriately configured and there are no evidence of obstruction of foreign bodies anywhere along the system. So we need to check it from the patient end down to the machine end. So having a very close inspection visually, again, just to reiterate, make sure that we're checking for no evidence of obstruction of foreign body anywhere along the circuit. Which all looks fine, and using a push and twist fit, we want to make sure that all parts, make sure they're all pushed, all twisted into place, and that the system is nice and secure. Once we've done that, we want to check the patency of the system and there's no evidence of any leak. So first we're going to do a pressure test. Turn the APL valve all the way down and flow up by occluding the end of your system and watching the reservoir bag fill up. By squeezing the bag, it's showing there's no evidence of any leak and it's recognising there's high pressure. So I'm happy that the system is patent and there's no leak evidence. Now I want to move on to my vaporizers. I will come back to the breathing system later, but now let's move on to the vaporizers. We have two vaporizers here on our back bar. There's a superfluorine and a desfluorine vaporizer. We want to make sure that they are adequately seated on the back bar, which they both are. We want to avoid taking them on and off the back bars as can damage it, but at the moment they look like they're happily seated, so I'm happy with that. We want to test them and make sure that they both run all the way through their range. When one's turned on, it should be impossible to turn the other one on due to an anti-lock mechanism, and in this case, this is working, so that's great. And again, the other one, make sure we turn all the way on throughout its range, and make sure the other one will turn on, so that's great. Now I want to make sure there's no leak running through the vaporizer. So if I set the flow to 5 litres per minute, and at the common gas outlet, which on this machine is here, if I occlude the common gas outlet, and we're watching the bobbin here, there should be a drop in the bobbin, which there is. Now this should be repeated when the vaporizer is turned on to make sure there is no leak from the vaporizer. So if I turn this vaporizer on, and again include the common gas outlet, there's still a bobbin drop, so that's great. So I'm happy with this vaporizer, and repeat the same for the other one. And again, there's a bobbin drop, so I'm happy with that. So I'm now happy with my vaporizers. Then moving on to the ventilator. Before each patient comes to theatre, you should make sure that the vaporizer and the vent settings are appropriate for each case. So you should make sure the setup is right, and then go into the alarm settings to make sure that the alarm settings are correct. And this is of course particularly important if you're switching between an adult patient and a paediatric patient. Having checked those, I'm going to now visually inspect my carbon dioxide absorber and make sure that it is locked in place. The lock on this machine is around the back, so it is locked in. It's nicely secured. There's no obvious evidence of a leak. And then again, you want to visually inspect it, looking at the colour of your CO2 absorber to make sure that it's fresh and ready for use. You should check which CO2 absorber you are using, as the colour will indicate whether it's fresh or not, and it's different for different absorbers. For the two-bag test, we have a test lung, but you can also use another reservoir bag if you don't have a test lung available. You need to attach the test lung to the patient end of the circuit, i.e. simulating the patient, and have the flow set to 5 litres per minute, which we have here. By squeezing the reservoir bag, I'm simulating that I can hand ventilate the patient, so I'm happy with that, and that's absolutely great. I also want to make sure that the unidirectional valves are moving and they're not stuck, which they both are, and that's fantastic. The next test we want to do is to make sure that our APL valve is working appropriately. So this has been our APL valve here. So if I move it through its pressure setting about halfway, so roughly between about 40 to 60 centimetres of water, by breathing both bags at the same time, I can see that I can't get the pressure up more than 50 centimetres of water here, which means the APL valve is working appropriately and it won't let me deliver more pressure than that. So that's great. Now I'm going to repeat the 2-bag test, but instead of doing the manual ventilation this time, I'm going to check that my ventilator is working appropriately. By switching on to the ventilator setting and turning my ventilator on, I'm watching to make sure that the bellows are filling, which they are now in the far corner. I'm ventilating, there's no evidence of a leak. And then to make sure further there's no evidence of a leak, I'm going to turn my flows right down to minimum. And you want to watch the bellows and make sure they continue to rise all the way to the top. And again, by turning one of the vaporizers on, make sure the bellows still rise all the way to the top. What we want to do is check our airway equipment, our monitoring and our scavenging. Firstly, just looking at our airway equipment, it's our responsibility to make sure that all the handles, the different laryngoscope blades, all our backup equipment, including supraglossic airways and our emergency airways, are all available for every case in case they're all needed. In addition to that, you're going to look for your airway adjuncts and for elastic bougies and make sure that they are available. When I'm happy with, I've got all the right equipment, I'm just going to have a look at the scavenging, which on this machine is around the back, and make sure that all the connections are secure. And again, I am happy with that. The last thing I want to do is to move on to our monitoring, and I'll make sure that all the appropriate alarm settings are in place and that all our basic monitoring is working, in particular the ECG, the non-invasive blood pressure, and the